Okay, so this is a problem doing a scatter plot, and then once you get the scatter plot, you're going to interpret not only the slope but the correlation. So when you're doing a scatter plot in linear regression, you need to identify your x-axis as the x variable, which in this case is age, and the y variable, which in this case is hours, on the y-axis. And then you plot the xy coordinates, the ordered pairs, as an x, comma, y. So for example, what I did was I went over to about 34 on the x-axis, and then I went up to 5.5 on the y-axis, and that's where that dot is. And it doesn't have to be perfection since you're sketching the graph. Okay? I like to draw a straight line through as many points as I can, because this is kind of guessing where the line of best fit would be, right? We're not actually creating line of best fit because that takes a statistical procedure. But I like to draw a line to just better see negative or positive slope. In this case, it's kind of obvious you have a negative slope. But in other cases, it might have such a weak correlation that it's hard to tell. So I just like to draw a line through it. You don't have to. But you do need a title, so make sure you have that. So let's interpret the slope. The slope interpretation always goes as age, as the x variable, which is age. As age increases, the y variable, which is hours spent jogging, what happens to it? So as x is increasing out here, the y's are getting smaller and smaller, so it decreases. And that is your slope interpretation. Your correlation interpretation is you have to say, well, there appears to be, what kind of correlation? Well, what kind of slope did you have? You had a negative, so there's definitely a negative correlation going on, and then you have to talk about the strength. Do you think it's a weak correlation? Do you think that it's a moderate correlation or a strong correlation? And remember, the tighter the dots form a line, the stronger the correlation will probably be. This forms a pretty good line. There's not very many dots. There's not very many points. There's not a big sample size going on here, so it's kind of hard to say with complete confidence. But I would go for a strong to moderate correlation. I would feel safe about that. So if you want to be brave and bold, you could say strong negative. If you want to be a little more conservative, you could say strong to moderate. You could say moderate. But I wouldn't say weak, because weak would mean just kind of all over the place where it's very hard to draw a line through them. This was pretty easy to draw a line through. So there appears to be a strong negative correlation between age and hours spent jogging. And that's all you do for a scatter plot.